This is John Genet again with ByoNetics. Uh, it's the 13th of May, 2004. It's 7 o'clock p.m. here in the Florida Keys. I wanted to take the opportunity to uh, suggest ways that moms or dads can take a quick break from their children's autism and replenish themselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. Uh, we provide the parent uh, developmental CD to repair the damage of stress. When stress enters the body, we naively call it stress, but it's actually electromagnetic energy that comes from flat screen TVs, computer screens, microwave ovens, fluorescent lighting, cell phone transmissions, outside power lines, traveling through time and space in a plane, a train, or a car. Uh, when it enters the physical body, we naively call it stress, but it's actually static energy, like static on a radio. And when you add the mental, physical, and emotional stress created by dealing with the challenges of having an autistic child, it just compounds this presence, this negative presence of energy. That is static energy in the body. This static energy moves into the physical body. It builds up to the number of devices that are creating it, and it creates what is known as a static bomb. The static energy, like static on a radio, moves through the neural pathways. They explode into what we've defined as developmental switches, crystalline structures in the neural pathway that connect the brain computer, which is a processor of information, to its software, mental, physical, emotional, speech softwares. And when it does that, it begins to break these crystal structures down to where they get too short to touch the brainwave frequency flowing over the top of it that connects to the proper software. Like the same thing that happens in a child happens into an adult. You begin to have physical fatigue, mental fatigue, emotional fatigue. When the brain cannot accept the overall presence of this energy, it starts shutting things down because it needs energy to run all of the software. It needs energy to run your organs, needs energy to run your mental, physical, emotional processes. And if it doesn't have enough energy to do that because of all the stress that's present, that's eating up this energy, then it begins to shut the outlying areas of the body down to where it wants to have enough energy to protect the organs. It wants the heart running. It wants the liver functioning. It wants the kidneys processing. And so it starts dropping these outside parameters. The first thing that goes is your ability to manage internal stress. The stress will build up to where it will start eating up all of this energy. You will begin to have physical symptoms. You won't be able to recover quite as quickly as you did before because you physically have aches and pains that don't relate to age as much as they relate to the inability of the energy to manage those processes. You'll lose your ability to start performing at your best, right? You'll begin to forget things that you're doing while you're doing them. You'll begin to lose track of what you need to get accomplished during the day. You begin to have depression in the form of emotional pain, and it's not something that you will identify or recognize. It's just something that, as these switches begin to turn themselves off because of this presence of stress, these symptoms appear as warning signs to tell you that there's something that you need to take care of, right? You'll begin to age. You have the acceleration of aging because you cannot connect to that frequency that manages your aging process over a lifetime. It begins to accelerate. Uh, you can see it around the eyes, especially as far as that presence of stress in the body. Uh, you'll begin to uh, develop colds that becomes flu, that becomes bronchitis, that eventually becomes pneumonia if you don't address it. Uh, you begin to lose a spiritual connection with your family, with your friends, with your community, because the brain is losing the ability to connect to the software that instructs the brain on how to manage all of these things mentally, physically, and emotionally. We can surely help with the parent CD because that CD creates all the frequencies that repair these developmental switches that connect the brain computer to the software, and the software instructs the brain on how to manage these particular areas so they don't get out of hand mentally, physically, and emotionally. But there's also uh, a form of meditation that you can do that really enhances the overall recovery, whether you have the parent CD or not. The brain peaks and valleys every 20 minutes. It's called the cycle of the brain, right? And during that 20 minutes, if you can take time out, uh, maybe you can go into the bathroom, maybe you can go into the shower, maybe you can go into the garage, maybe while your child's sleeping, if that's possible, to sit in a straight back chair. You don't want to sit in a comfortable one because you'll go to sleep. You don't want to sit in the couch because you'll go to sleep. But if you sit in a straight back chair, your feet flat on the ground, shoulders width, right? And just put your hands on your lap and close your eyes and just allow your brain to be able to play out everything that it's recorded. That's called meditation, right? You have the meditation teacher who will say the goal of meditation is to be free of thought. And so that's like saying, don't think about pink elephants, because the first thing you're going to do is start thinking, and that's what the teacher wants you to do. He wants you to sit there and for 20 minutes, he wants just the brain to start deleting information off its hard drive. Everything that it's recorded and it doesn't need for survival, the brain just, in a quiet 20 minutes, it just begins to release that energy. You don't have to pay attention to anything that's releasing. The Buddhist philosophy, they say that thoughts are like clouds flowing by. That's what you want them to do. You want them to just flow by. And a lot of people, after 20 minutes, experience a sense of wellness, mentally and emotionally. They seem to have regained a certain amount of vitality as far as their physical being is concerned. If you can do two 20-minute sessions, one in the late morning, like 11 o'clock, something like that. If you have to do it at 9 or 10, we don't care, as long as you get in that 20 minutes. And then in the latter part of the day, maybe 3 or 4, something like that, or maybe before your child comes home from school or comes home from an activity. If you do those two 20-minute sessions a day, you will revitalize yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Because since the brain is a computer, it has to have a hard drive. In spiritual philosophies, they call that hard drive a soul. It holds all the memories from the beginning of your existence to now. Right? The more memories it holds, the less energy you have to function with mentally, physically, and emotionally. Right? So you have to understand that the brain records everything during the day. It records you getting up in the morning, the way that the sun came through the window shades, the outside temperature, the process of making breakfast for your family, of getting your kids off to school, of kissing your husband goodbye so we can go to work. The brain memorizes everything because it believes it's going to need that information to possibly survive, right? Well, at the end of the day, of course, the brain probably didn't need 99.9% of that information that it recorded, right? But it has no way of releasing it other than in a dream cycle at night or in a form of quiet meditation for that 20 minutes. So if a lot of people come to me and say, John, I don't even have 20 minutes. And then I ask them, do you schedule other things during the day? Do you schedule appointments? Do you know what time to get up to be able to get your family off for its day's activities? Do you know all of those things? He goes, yes. I said, well, then take a day planner, however you do it, put it in 20 minutes at a particular time. And when that time comes up, turn off the phones so you don't get bothered. Sit for 20 minutes. That 20 minutes will pass very quickly. And then you get up and reclaim your day. And it will be your saving grace, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Because if you're a mother, you're the core energy of that family. If you're reflecting stress and anxiety, and that stress and anxiety is getting worse every day, that family is getting affected negatively every day, times the number of stress issues that you can't release through this meditation. So just, maybe it's a bath. Maybe your husband is putting the kids down for the night, giving you a respite from your daily activities. You soak in the tub, light some candles, and close your eyes and make that your 20 minutes, right? But don't do it while you're driving the car. Don't do it other than in a warm bath with candles or 20 minutes sitting in a straight back chair with your hands in your lap, and just let your brain play, right? It will just start deleting information. It'll be like a slide machine, that's just clicking pictures one after the other, and the brain releases these memories in its priority. Like if it needs to release one big menu, it'll release that first. It'll release the next memory that has the most importance. It'll go down in that protocol, right? So just stay there and just allow it to happen. Don't judge what's happening. Don't do anything other than just witness the process. And day after day, you will get more and more energy mentally, physically, and emotionally. You will be freer and freer of thought. And out of that freedom from thought, you will have the energy that once held that memory, that thought, back. So where you can use it to regenerate yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. You will see the dynamic of the family change, right? You will see the kids begin to calm down, the husband or wife begin to mellow out, because there's a strong presence of energy that's maintaining balance. And that's what we want. We want that balance. So as a recap, 2 20-minute sessions, one preferably in the morning, late afternoon, anytime before the kids come back from home, or after you send them off to school, or summer activities that's coming up. Straight back chair, sit up straight in, put your feet flat on the ground, shoulder width, and just sit there and meditate for 20 minutes. If you like to have, we don't suggest having music in the background. We surely don't want the TV on, right? We want it just to be calm so the brain has that quiet moment to start releasing this energy. If it has to be paying attention to something else while it's trying to release energy, then it nullifies itself. So I hope this has been of little help. If you need to call me, 1-800-280-2802. Once again, ByoNetics is on Eastern Time here in Florida. But take the opportunity to give us a call. If you need just to have a consultation with me about what's happening with your kid, whether you are experiencing ByoNetics or not, give me a call. I can be of great help just to be able to give you an understanding of where that child's at. Okay? Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.